Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and guess what? This is probably the last time I'm going to say this. I say probably because I don't really know, but it's Margarete Miller time, and I know for definite it's page number 52. It's the very last one, and the bookmark goes back into the ephemera box. Now the bookmark is just a bookmark once again. Or a tag that was used as a bookmark. I can't believe it. We're actually here. This is final page, guys. It's done. Mind you, I am worrying about the spine of this because, as you can see, it's really not happy. But you know what? I don't care. There's such a sense of achievement knowing that I've got this far. And today I will finish the last one. I've dedicated a year to doing this and exploring and pushing all the boundaries of my skills as someone who does collage. So let's just keep going and we'll talk as we go along because this is how I'm excited about this one. Right, there you go. Those are the prompts for today. Now, as I've made it very well known to you in my videos, this one's going to be all about Christmas. I feel that it's a joyful end to the whole collage, and I just think that I can manipulate these prompts into saying Christmas. So I think we need to get on with it. And just to let you know, I normally have on my desk a timer that's set for an hour, so I know that I shouldn't go over an hour. I'm not using this today. We're going to take as long as a joyful collage takes me to do, and we're going to do different things along the way, and we're just going to have fun. So, all that said and done, let's see what I pulled out of the bag and see what I can use. Well, before we start, we need the scissors, a scraper or a smoother, a glue stick, but I've also bought in art glittered glue, and I've also bought in Fabri-Tac, and there's my tear ruler, because you know what, I'm not sure what I'm going to need for what today. There's also the obligatory glue book, or glue pages, that must come off because it's got ink on it. Right, now where do I begin? Right, the first prompt is something with holes. Okay, something with holes. I've got these cross-stitch images that I took out of a catalogue. You may remember a couple of ones ago I said that, where is it? I said that I used a cross-stitch pattern book. Good grief, is it really that long ago? There you go. Well, this came from the same cross-stitch catalogue or magazine, whatever it was, and I cut them out because it's like, these are far too pretty not to use. So, as you can see, and cross-stitch is made up of an Aida or a fabric. It's got holes in it. You put the thread or the floss through it, or silk. So there you go. That's the whole one. Todo's going to be creative. Something that's heavy. Okay, Santa's heavy. So we're going to put a bit of napkin onto this piece of paper, which will make sense later on. So that's another thing. That's probably one of the first things I need to do. It needs to be dried. So there's that. Something stapled. Well, you need a stapler for a start. I did pull out some little elements. I pulled out some ribbon. I went through and found a page of Christmas baubles, and I just took my hole punch, my circle punch, and I cut them out because these are going to be part of it, and so is that and the stapler. So at some point there's going to be like a stapled cluster involved that's going to go onto this page. What's next? A sticker. Right, what did I do for a sticker? Okay, this is one of the little stickers I made myself. I've done this one onto paper because we know my angst with peeling the backs off. It's a violet because a violet was my mother's favourite flower, and a robin was my mother's favourite bird. She used to love, we had a couple of robins that came down every year to our bird feeding table, and Mum used to love them. And there's only my sister and I left in the family, and Christmas is all about family, so I wanted to include something that represented Mum in the spread as well. So without getting all emotional about it, I just thought it felt like the right thing to do, because it did. This feels like the end of a journey for me, and I think it's been a journey of finding myself, reinventing myself, getting comfortable with who I am as an artist within the world, trying to be brave enough to put my art out there, and trying to let go of my perfectionism and just strive for a touch of excellence instead. So there's been a bit of emotional and mindful work gone into this. But we're not going to go into all of that because I'm sure that will come up at some other point. Let's see, stick a portion of a book page. Right, I pulled out music page, and I think these are Christmas hymns anyway. I hadn't even thought to look at the titles. So this is probably what I'm going to cover the page with. And a paint chip. Right, I had this green paint chip. There you go, that was the paint chip. And that's the colour I painted my filing cabinet. I cut that out with a stamp punch, and I think this somehow is going to be something to do with the cluster that I do. So that I'm going to pop that with the cluster stuff. So I think we're going to be making little elements and then composing the page with those elements. So that is everything on there. Now, a couple of other things that are going on this page that I didn't know whether I was going to do or not. So first of all, something I wish I'd done at the beginning of this, I photocopied that. And I put a bit of vintage photo around because I don't necessarily want this to be there on this one, but I can put this somewhere on the page, or I have an idea for it anyway. Right, what else have I pulled in? I pulled in a few things like bits off old Christmas cards, the word Christmas off her magazine or two. Actually, could that be, I wonder. Ooh, I could even do a belly band from it. I don't know, I've got plans for things and I wasn't sure how I was going to do them, but that's just popped an idea into my little brain. I've also made myself an envelope. Now, this word here, Nodella Llawen, is Merry Christmas in Welsh. And I'm Welsh, and this is the Welsh language. Not that there's a prompt anywhere. I don't speak Welsh, but I obviously know little bits like that. And the 25th is Christmas Day, so I stamped that and just did some squiggly lines around it. So there's going to be a little envelope on here as well. The spine's probably going to totally come off after I finish this page. For me, traditionally, quality street chocolates are always, there's always a tin of Quality Street in my house, and there always has been, as far back as I can remember. For those who may not know this because you live abroad, Quality Street is a big tin of assortment of chocolates, and they're a family favourite at Christmas. They probably should be favourite all year round, but thank goodness they're not, although I'd be the size of a house. That's there. Right, let's pull in a few other things. I thought, what's Christmas without a bit of bling? So there may be a bit of bling. There's another bit of cross-stitch something or other, so I don't know whether that's going to arrive on the page. There's a big letter D, and it's red, and it's December, so that might be on there. I've had these in my parking lot for absolutely ever, and I think one of them needs to come on board now. I'm leaning towards the hot chocolate, because I'm not sure we would really have had mulled wine, but there you go. So there's an absolute, oh wait, there's one more. I found this very stylish lady who fits on this page, and I think that's going to be a contemporary Mother Christmas. Okay, just, I don't know, it just called to me and I thought, you know, you're going on there possibly. So as you can see, we've got an absolute sledge load of things to do. So I'm going to push the good old planner up and off the page, well, off the screen anyway, and we're going to work first of all with this little one. Now, this is just a generic Christmas napkin I happened to find in our drawer downstairs. So obviously it must have been from last Christmas or the Christmas before, I don't know which. So I'm just going to take one of these panels out, because what I was thinking is, with this book page and this napkin, I'm going to make something that represents a letter to Santa. Now, there's nothing going to be written on the letter. It's purely going to be a representation of a letter to Santa. So, right, this can go in the parking lot. The parking lot's going to be dealt with at some point because it too is coming to the end of its journey. Right, now, I know that this has got several layers of napkin, and how I do it is I wet my fingers slightly and then I pinch, and as I pinch, it pulls away. Now, sometimes there's more than one layer. This was obviously an inexpensive napkin, so there's only one layer of tissue, and I've thrown that tissue away because, you know what, I'm not keeping anything more than I absolutely have to. Right, I'm going to glue this on. I'm going to tear the bottom of this off, but I'm not going to tear the edges. What I'm going to do is, once it's glued on and dried, I'm just going to go around with the scissors and clean up the edges of this. Let's just take that out. Oh, or maybe I am going to tear that off. Well, there you go. Actually, and I've still got enough to cut it off anyway. Right. Now, when it comes to tissue paper, I can glue the tissue paper. When it comes to napkin, I could not do that with a glue stick. It's not going to happen. So I have to glue the page. Hence why I'm actually doing this before I do anything else, so that it's actually got time to start to dry. Right, I put a bit of a mark on there because I know that I can glue stick the whole of this page. And I do this often. I'm very much a person who uses napkins for things. There's napkins out there sometimes that have little tiny details on them. And what I tend to do is I tend to stick the napkin to a book page, just like I'm doing here. And then I'll cut them into little squares, and I'll make fake postage stamps and things out of them, or I'll make labels out of them. So I do like using my napkin. Now, whenever you're using this, I always smooth from the inside to the outside. You can use Mod Podge and other things for this, but I found glue stick works equally as well, and I've not had a problem with that in the past. Why is that bit stuck? It doesn't matter if it's stuck or not. There you go. Right, so that's going to go to one side, and we're going to revisit that later on. So that's my first piece of ephemera made. There you go, quite quick. I will probably vintage photo around the edge, then I will fold it, and then it's more than likely going into this envelope. So he'll not be seen, but if anyone in the future looks in here, they're going to find a letter to Santa in there. So let's put that to one side. What else did I want to look at? I wanted to look somehow at the cluster, and I'm not 100% certain yet how I'm doing this cluster, but I'm going to do the cluster. Now, I'm sort of kind of playing with the idea of how big could I make the cluster. I did have originally the idea of doing something along the lines of, bear with me, I was going to loop this over, thread this through, loop it round here, then pull it back tight again, so that it was sort of quite a contemporary looking cluster, but I'm not sure how I was going to do it. I was just playing with the idea, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to pull that off. That doesn't look like it's going to work. Although I could do, let's just tuck that down there. Sorry, I'm having a moment. I suppose if I did something like that, I could do that. And then I could maybe put something behind it as well. Thing is, I want this page to be completely joyous, full of colour and everything. I just want it to be, a wow page. I'm going to put some vintage photo on the edge of this, just a little bit. I'm not adding any more to my blending tool. I'm just putting what is on my blending tool, just to give it a little bit of definition. Right, I think I've got an idea with this now. So if I do that, and I do that, I thread that back through there, because I've got a feeling I know what I want to do with this. And I want to move this to the very edge. There you go. And I want to bring in, where's that one I really liked? Sorry, more fingers and thumbs today. And then just to give that a little more rigidity, nice big word there, Griffiths, I'm going to take one of the other ones that is not so interesting, say, let's take that one, and I'm going to stick it to the back there, just to give it a little more sustenance. And then I'm going to give this a bit of a staple. Right, now I'm going to go in with my glue stick, and I'm going to put a bit of glue around the edges and everything of there, just to hold this all in place so that it stands the test of time, really, because who knows how long this is going to be around. So now I'm thinking this may be where I put a little bit of bling. So let's just have a little quick look at the table and see what else I've got here. And the other thing I could do is I could use this to do that. Actually, I don't mind that at all. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So, right, I'm going to stick this on. And then that's cured several things in one go for me. I've got my stapled element, I've got my prompts, I've done myself a cluster, or I would if I could pick the thing up. Okay, there, Griffiths. Right, make sure I've got nothing on the back of there. Right, I'm going to leave that face up, face down, so that the glue sticks, but I do want to come in here and just put a few more pieces of glue where it's not being seen, but I know where it is. Right. So there you go, there's my bit of a Christmas cluster, and I'm going to trim these ribbons and put tails on them later on, and there may still be a little bit of bling on that, so I'm going to put that to one side as well. I know I just thought of something too. In the last video, I was experiencing a couple of moments where my iPad froze. I did try and get rid of them. I did try and edit them out. I couldn't do it, guys. So I do apologise. I think it froze 3 times. It's only for a few milliseconds. It's annoying. And I think it is definitely the fact that I really need to get my butt to Apple and buy myself a new iPad, because I use my iPad 24/7. I run my entire business from my iPad. Hell, I should be sponsored by Apple at this point. So anyway, there you go. So I'm sorry if it happens again. I do apologise. Not a lot I can do about it that I haven't already done. So right, I think we've done the elements. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to start building the pages. Now I'm kind of just erring towards let's just get something on the page syndrome. I'm a little wary that I'm going to break the spine of this book, and there's not a problem there. Everything is fixable. That's or repairable, fixable, repairable. You know what I mean. So I think that's going to be about the right height. I'm not that there's going to be enough on this page that things are never going to be seen anyway. So because I intend to really fully load this full of everything. That because Christmas is unfortunately a season of excess, but then some of the excesses are wonderful because they're excesses of giving and joy and love and hope, and yeah, really, I sound like I'm accepting Miss World, don't I? But there you go. Right, and I know some little child or someone has drawn on that. It doesn't bother me, and I don't really want to put that side. I want to put that side anyway. It doesn't bother me. Really does not bother me. Right, let's take a couple of these book pages and lay them down. So, have you been doing the challenge? I know quite a few of you have. I also know quite a few of you started doing the challenge quite late, as in 6 to 8 months late. But you know what? What's wrong with that? I think that if you've been inspired to do this challenge, and you obviously don't care that you're using the planner as a planner, and maybe you're not even using the planner. Maybe you're, what are you doing? You're using your glue book or your art book, or you're just doing it and you're randomly picking them out as a starting point for a collage piece. I think that's fabulous. I think just having a starting block to do your art is the best way to do this. And I really do applaud you for maybe exploring something that's new to you. Maybe you're not someone who's done collage before, but you've seen myself or one of the other people out there doing the collage challenge, and you've gone, you know, I can do that. And you can do that. And I'm with you 100%, guys. Have a go. At the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. Nobody else. It doesn't matter. It'll be exactly what you want it to be. I'll pull that back in. This book's going to be moved all over the place. I will always try and put it back here to home base. But if I forget, please forgive me. I'm just enjoying today. Right. So let's put that down there. Life here. Let's see, how is life here? The weather is glorious. I think it knows it's my last day of doing this collage challenge, so it's celebrating with me. It's a beautiful, beautiful day out there, albeit it is a winter's day and it is cold. What month am I in? Because I'm not doing this at the right time of year. I'm doing this is October. There you go. As I've said in the previous videos, if I don't get these done ahead of time, there is absolutely no way I'm going to have time to do it. Like, I've got a huge cake show coming up. I've got a craft show coming up. I've got Christmas television shows coming up. I've got filming coming up. It's just I always knew that when I did this challenge, that when it came to the latter months, like October, November, December, I knew I'd have to come up with some sort of game plan to be able to complete the challenge, because I just knew that my workload is such, especially because obviously crafting and catering, big times of the year are Christmas, New Year, holidays, all of that lot. So yeah, so I knew I was going to have to find some way around this, and I know nobody is going to object to me doing them early. The only downside is I can't really talk about things that are topical because they haven't happened yet. So I don't actually know what the topical subjects are at the moment. I mean, I'm hoping we're not in lockdown. I'm hoping life is going merrily ahead. I'm hoping the numbers of people expiring due to COVID have dropped drastically. I'm hoping and praying that the medical world has come up with a one-time fix so that we don't spend the rest of our lives every 6 months going in for booster shots and worried about how vulnerable are we and at what time of year are we vulnerable and what time are we not vulnerable. So I would love all of it to be cured, and I'd love us to enter 2022 with a new hope, with a new planet. Well, not a new planet because none of us are moving. Should I say a new attitude to the planet we live on would probably one of the things I would wish for, because I think a lot of this, I don't know, the planet seems to be telling us, hang on guys, you've messed with me enough, and it's beginning to prevent us doing things. I can go, that's fine with me. I think Mother Nature has had enough, and I know that may sound a little bit new age to some people, but you know what, I really do believe that yes, we are suffering the results or the effects of our mistreatment of nature, the planet, whatever you wish to call it. However, the consequences, I don't know. I mean, is it a bigger power? Is Mother Nature just had enough of us? Are we truly, well, we don't care about the planet. I mean, a lot of us do, but I struggle. I look around and go, really, are we doing the best we can do for the planet that we've been gifted? I'm just going to take a bit of this, just put over there for no other reason than it's in the parking lot, and it just come to mind. Oh, and it may never be seen because, as I said, this is going to be collaged with an inch of its life. So I don't know. I would love to be more of an eco warrior. I would love to have the time to be able to make more of an effect on the world, but I am very much aware that, to be honest with you, the only thing I can affect truly are the things I do and the impact I have. There are things I do that I know probably do harm the planet, but there are things I do and have done all my life that have counterbalanced that. So I don't regard myself as someone who's doing a huge amount of harm to the planet, although yes, I do use fossil fuels, yes, I do drive a car, yes, I do fly, not as much as I used to, so my carbon footprint is reduced. Obviously, as a junk journaler and someone who does crafting in the fashion that I do do quite a bit to recycle. I try to reduce what goes into landfill. Whenever I buy something, I would make the choice to buy something not in a plastic wrapper if I can make that choice, if there is an option. Anyway, you get the gist. I'm doing my little bit, and hopefully if all of us did our own little bit, the effects would be enormous. So, right, we've got our book pages covered. Sorry, we've got it covered with book page. Right, I think we're absolutely, definitely, positively going to do a bit of vintage photo around the edge of this, and I want to do it now because I don't necessarily want all of the elements that go over the top of this book page to be vintage photoed. So there you go. I'm excited for my own new personal challenge next year of doing the journaling series. For those of you who are not aware of what I'm planning to do, because this was quite a monumental challenge to take on, and I didn't realise how much time it would take to do, and I don't mean just time, I mean effort as well, to be able to pull off a weekly challenge. Was a bit tight with my schedule, but you know what? If you want to do something badly enough, you will find a way of doing it. And I did want to do it badly enough, and I did do it. So it just took a little bit of rejuggling a schedule. However, I did learn 52 challenges in 1 year, a little bit much for me. So I'm going to reduce that to 12 challenges, and I'm going to dedicate myself to doing a journal cover with an insert, which will just be a naked insert. It'll be pages sewn into or attached into a cover. So it'll be the focus will be a different cover each month, made in a different way or utilizing a different skill. And then what I'll do is, as that's going to all be aimed at the beginner, to take them on a journey with me, or to take you on a journey with me if you are that beginner, or you just seek to refresh your knowledge or revisit old skills. And then once I've started that ball rolling, the journals I create, I can then use as vehicles to do, say, techniques on pages, or I can do ephemera 4, or so it gives me something else to generate. So I think I just knocked the camera. It gives me a way of actually doing other videos on the back of those videos. So anyway, it feels like a plan to me, and I'm excited, and I've got it all down. I've already got 12 covers on my list of how to do them, and it's everything from gluing techniques to recycling techniques to collaging techniques to fabrics to cardboard to papers to maybe canvas to there's a lot, and I'm really excited to get my teeth into it, but I can't do that until I've done this. So let's get back to this. Right, let's get the bigger elements on this page. I so wish I'd have thought beforehand to do that and photocopy and cut off the prompt. Right, you are going to break off anyway, so you're coming off. Right, let's get the layers on the go, guys, and let's just hope I don't tear any of these pages. I cannot tell you how long I've had these images in my magazine scrap box. And what I do, as most of you know by now, is I actually cannibalize magazines and promotional magazines and like freebie magazines you get at the supermarket, and I take images and then they all get added to a box, and then I dip into it periodically and I use it to give me base materials for doing collage. One thing I will say though is periodically I go through, and things that are in that box that are seriously just, you know, the things, you pick them up, you look at them and you put them to one side continually. Well, anything like that periodically just gets gone. It just, I get to the point I'm quite good. I'm like, okay, right, you are not working for me. I've not found a use for you in 6 months. So I'll periodically purge and get rid of them because I just do. I'm not one for hanging around with clutter too long. It's just too much of something to deal with. And that box of ephemera pieces, a box of magazine clippings just gets filled and filled and filled, and then it gets to the point where you can't actually see anything because it's all at the bottom. Right, I'm going to put that to one side because I do want to use it, but I want it as an upper layer. Right, what else do I want on here? I really liked this big D. And I think I might like the big D right by there. Is that gluey? I'm being really cautious of my glue pages. As you've seen, I use glue pages all the time, so it's not like I'm not going to recycle them in somehow. It's just that I do know that a magazine page, if you get glue on the front, it'll do one or two things. It'll either take the image off the front entirely, or the other thing it happens to like to do is it leaves a shiny mark where the glue was, and you're never going to get rid of it. So there you go. I'm liking the feel of that already. It's got a kind of vintage vibe around it, and I'm happy with that. Right, I wanted to pull in some of these circles because I want to put, as I've said, I want to put layers down. So all I did was I found Christmas baubles in a magazine, and instead of fussy cutting them, I just literally, let's see if I've got it. Where are you? There you go. I just took my hole puncher, no matter how big the bauble was, I just cut along so close that I could actually get this all the way in and just cut out. Just hole punched, basically. Just wanted to put something like that on there. Right, so let's put a few backgroundy ones in. Actually, I like that one with the snowflake on it. That's cute. So, and it didn't even need it to have started as baubles. I could have just taken imagery in a magazine that was potentially Christmas based, even just the Christmas colours, and then I could have just cut circles out of that, because I'm not pretending they're baubles, they're just round circles. Your mind will leap to the fact that they're baubles because you're used to seeing baubles on a Christmas tree. So, well, some Christmas trees anyway. Right, I quite liked this one. Right, that's gone way sticky already. Excuse me, I want to clear my throat. Oh, a bit of a cough. Right. So, what am I doing next as far as videoing goes? Well, besides the fact that I'm videoing like crazy anyway to try and get a stockpile of videos up and running so that you guys, my loyal subscribers, have got a constant stream of stuff from me, so you know that I haven't forgotten you, which to me is important, so I'll be happy with that. Looks a bit like a disco ball, doesn't it? I've forgotten what I was saying, so what am I doing? I've completely forgotten already what I was talking about. Right, we'll come back to that thought, or the thought will come back to me. So, does that happen to anyone else? Am I of that age where I walk into the kitchen and then I have to go out of the room to find out what I went into the kitchen for in the first place? It does happen, people. It happens to me quite often. Right, we're going to save those, and those will go on the next level or layer. Right, where am I up to? I had this, and I was very tempted to put it down the sides of the pages. At least down the side of one page, if not two. I mean, as you can see, I like to put things down the sides of pages. I could, I suppose, put it along the bottom. I don't know, I always find if I put something along the bottom of the page, then I suppose at the top would work. Let's have a go at that. I mean, I haven't been putting it along the top, I've just been putting it along the bottom as I go. Let's recut that, because I think I cut that on a wonky line. Let's just recut another piece. Now this is very, very peculiar stuff. It's ribbon, but it's a really weird ribbon. It's quite stiff. I have no other way of describing it. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac because it's fabric and it needs to be stuck down. So I'm going to come in, if my Fabri-Tac wants to play nice with me. Come on, you're a relatively full bottle. There you go. So yes, I mean, if I don't get to say it again, and I'm sure I am going to say it again because it's the sort of person I am, thank you so much for your support and your comments along the way with this challenge. It's been absolutely lovely to see you all joining in and talking and actually having conversations with you and not just putting like, dislike. We've had some discussions. Now that happened exactly as I thought it was going to happen. I'm going to see the fabric tack through it. But as I said, we're nowhere near end of this yet. Right, note to self, don't do that again. Right, these can go into, I mean, I could use double-sided tape. I mean, let's not worry about the fact that I've got that, because I can put ribbon down the middle. I mean, I still have things like, I've got strips of Merry Christmases and stuff like that need to go up, so I'm not overly worried. Where's that gone? And I could easily have put double-sided tape on the back of here and stuck it down with that, but lesson to self, it will show through. I do remember seeing, I think it was Nick the Booksmith, or it may be Nick the Booksmith or Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah, I can't remember which. They put the fabric tack down, then they smear it with their finger so it's a thinner film of it. Then they put the fabric on, and sometimes that reduces the bleed, should we say. While you're looking at that, that would pretty much fit in there. Let's see if I can get this to the point where I'm happy to have the right length. Now let's take a bit of vintage photo just to cover up the white edge of this one. So I will be doing a bonus video in this playlist, one of which will be a flip through the entire planner, so watch out for that. You'll obviously get notifications when it comes up, because if you're a subscriber you'll see notifications. It will not be posted until after this one has been shown. I'm going to use Art Blizzardly for this, I think. Then there may be, just maybe, one extra video on this series, on this playlist, and I'm not sure yet because I need to decide whether what I'm thinking I want to do will work or not. So I know that sounds a bit of a mystery, but if I tell you what it is and then I don't do it, then I look like I'm a fool. However, if I don't tell you what it is and I do it, then guess what? You have a nice surprise. Oh, fudge. Why do I think that was the wrong thing to do there? Let's just press that down. I seem to be having an issue with the top edge of this page, don't I? That's just not going to stick, is it? No, it is not. Right, see if I can get fabric tack on here. I'm feeling that was a mistake. And if I could undo it by taking off the piece, I probably would, but I don't think I will, because I don't want to destroy the last collage page just because I was trying to tear something off and repair it. And as I've said all the way along, I'm not trying to be perfection here. I'm just trying to be excellent, because perfection is unattainable and it's one of my faults in life. I will make stuff and then destroy it because it's not perfect, but it's only not perfect in my eyes, and it is one of those crosses you have to bear when you're OCD or you've got anxiety. You're never happy. I'm never happy with stuff I do, but I'm trying to be happy, and that's what part of this challenge was about. Right, let's move on because I'm getting a bit morose about that. So let's have a little bit of a butcher's, butcher's means it's rhyming slang. Butcher's hook, look. I'm not a Londoner, I don't know rhyming slang, but it's just something that we've always said in my family. I'm just going to cut off the edges of this napkin. I could have torn this, but if I'd have torn it and it went wrong, then I would have ruined yet another piece of ephemera. Right, let's pull in this, and just not that it needs much on it. I just want to catch any of those edges just to blend everything in. As I said, this is a letter that only you and I will know is on this spread, because it's going to be in that little red envelope anyway. The little red envelope is going to be somehow attached to or slotted into or clipped onto, it's going to be on this page somehow. I mean, that's why I was quite lucky when happy when I saw that other thing. I went, oh, that can be a belly band, because I hadn't thought about putting a belly band in. So let's just get this done. Right, I think, because it's fully dry now, so this reminds me of my childhood, and I don't know if it reminds you of yours, where you always wrote a letter to Santa at Christmas. I don't anymore because the man has never answered. But, right, I just want to take a bone folder on that. So, joking aside, but yeah, we were always had to sit down and write a letter to Santa. Sometimes it was thanking him for the year we'd had. Sometimes it was our Christmas dreams and our little presents that we want, our Santa's wish list, and think, why can't I get this in the darned envelope? There you go. So right, this does have glue on it, which slightly worries me, because if this gets humid, is it going to stick down? But you know what, if it does stick down, that's fine. It's a secret anyway. But I'm thinking I might want to just do something with that. So bear with me. I actually need to find a bit of paper in the old scrap box. And I don't even mind whether it's little bits of book page or something. I just think if I stick something over that now, then if this book in the future does get humid in any way, or it gets damp in the workroom, then that glue is not going to activate and seal the envelope completely shut. I'm trying to find a biggish piece of, that's what I'm looking for. Right. So it also gives a little bit of interest to the inside of this envelope flap. So I'm just going to come in, try not to go past the crease. Get that out of the way. Fold the envelope up. Right. So I've gone quiet again, haven't I? It's called concentration. I don't do it that often, so I'm sure you won't be disturbed by it in the future. There you go. So that way it can't stick down because there's no glue to stick it down with. And yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of the old vintage photo on the edge of that. And if I bend that back a little bit along the edge there, it's never going to hurt it. Right, so there you go. So we've made that little bit of ephemera. And I quite like that idea. Actually, I've not done that before. That was on the spur of the moment. Be good if I put glue all the way to the end. Yeah, that was a bit of a moment, putting that on there. I'm quite happy with that. Right, I now need to work out how to put that in. So that's going to sit up there until my little grey matter kicks in. Okay, right, what else do we need to consider? Right, we have the cluster that needs to be on this page somewhere. And I'm not unliking it over there, actually. So I think I want to come in and just snip the ends of these. So I call them dovetailed. I don't know whether there's a specific name for it. So I just fold the ribbon in half, take a sharp pair of scissors and cut down, and it gives me that telltale V shape. Let's do that on the other one. I find it easier if I cut from the open side in, because if I cut from that side out, sometimes the tails move around and they're not equal. So just something I found that works for me. Just something to be aware of. If I had a spare bit of ribbon, I would show you, but I don't. So there you go. Right, I quite like the fact that it just hangs down. I'm probably going to do something down there anyway. I think we should just get that on the page. So I'm just going to turn this over. This time I am going to use art glitter glue because it seems like the best choice. I'm going to be quite liberal with this because it's on the edge of a page. I want it to stand the test of time. hold that down a second. So, yes, I've caught up, I would say almost definitely with all of my comments by now, because I know I've got quite a rigorous schedule of comment answering as well. I'm finding if I do a little bit every day, I've got more of a chance of keeping on top of it. But I do know with the Christmas holidays or the seasonal holidays, I'm going to take one day before the end of this year, before New Year's Eve, and I'm actually going to go in, and I'm going to get that's not stuck down there, is it? And I'm going to go in and I'm going to go through every single comment that I can find that hasn't been answered and actually answer it. So just a personal thing. I'm very much one of these people, I don't like loose ends. I want to tidy up the end of the year. I want to start 2022 on a note that I'm like, right, it's all go ahead. Okay, so I've got all that. That's quite nice. I wish that wasn't creased, but you know what? That's fine. Actually, I wonder whether I can do it on here. Right, as I was saying, okay, I'm going to try and do the V. So if you want to cut the V correctly, see the opening here? I cut in that direction. If, however, you cut in the opposite direction, a lot of the time it won't cut properly because you can see the fabric moves around and sometimes you don't get an even V or even tails. So there you go. That's just a little something from me. Right. How do I want to deal with this letter? Let's see. I do think, actually that'd be quite nice across there as well. I'm trying to think of ways to tuck it in, slot it on. I wasn't planning on actually, that's a bit wide. I wanted to tack it in or do something. I mean, I could, because this is the end of the book, at the end of the plan, I could actually just wrap that around and then it could open up, but then I've already done that and I don't want to do that. But I could equally create myself a belly band. Ooh, that's not quite wide enough. This is bothering me, the top of this. I mean, it's stuck now. Goodness knows that's not going anywhere. I do need to just tidy off that edge though. Yeah, this is peculiar ribbon. It's almost as if it's not fabric. It's a weird one. Right, so I could, of course, just stick this down, so then you lift this up to take the letter out, and I could do that equally anywhere on the page, as long as I've got room to open the book thing up. Actually, that might not be bad there. Let's just sit that there, have a think, have a thought, see whether it works. All right, stop messing around with that. Right, things I really wanted to get on this page was I wanted to put this on there, and you know why. Pity I didn't stamp that over and I could have used that instead. Right. It's obvious, I think, that these two are not going to make it, although I would love them to. I think these will get onto a bigger spread when I can get time to start doing my glue book, my art journaling again. I think they will raise their head there. This page is feeling very, very vacant at the moment. Although I do know that Mother Christmas is going to go in here. Contemporary Mother Christmas should we call her. Should be there or should be on the edge. Wherever I put her, her head is going to cover up something, but it's probably least covering something there. Right, I think that's the only place where she's going to go. Sorry, it's wrong to call her she, but she is a she. She's a female. Right, again, art glitter glue. Yeah, when I first started this challenge, I was considering at the end of the challenge to actually do this whole planner as a giveaway. And I went, you know, that's a heck of a lot of work. That'd be a really nice giveaway to one of my subscribers if they win it. But then I've got to the point where I'm like, I actually love the planner so much. I don't really want to give it away. I want to keep this. This is, as I said, it's a year of my life. It's been a journey. And I've loved it. Actually, I'm thinking I want that over there. And I don't mind because I can put something in that. Let's just stick that down, shall we? Let's stop procrastinating and stick it down. So yes, unfortunately, I'm not going to do this as a giveaway now. I really did consider it because, as I think I said in my last video, I'd really like to get to 50,000 subscribers, and if I do that, then I need to somehow do a bit of a giveaway. Not sure what that giveaway will be. We will sort that out as it goes along. Okay, I like that there. That's not a problem to me at all. So there you go. So that's there. So I can actually pull that letter out if I really wanted to. I quite like to decorate under there, and I'm thinking maybe this is the best place to put this, because it's like almost gone but not forgotten, if that makes sense. So just glue this bit down first. I just want to do it so that it's sort of where the robin's head will be, and still covered. Right, this is quite glossy. It was off the front of a Christmas card last year, so I kept it because obviously it's a robin. I just need to get this. Thank goodness there's a fine tip on the art glitter glue, I can tell you. Because if I tried to do this with a glue stick, I'd have ripped parts of this bird off big time. Right, there you go. Let's press it down with that. Okay, so that's that element in there. Yes, I like that. That's just subtle enough that it's in there. Right. I did want to put Quality Street on there because Quality Street, as I said, is something we've always done in my family for Christmas. My sister can pretty much devour an entire tin of Quality Street during one Christmas Day movie. I can do some damage to a Quality Street tin, but if I was to eat that much, I'd probably be incredibly ill afterwards. So, but I'd probably have a smile on my face anyway. It's weird because if we put a tin of Quality Street on the dining room table, you know, people pick one as they go by, and it's very interesting to see the certain colours go. Like, I know that there's a purple one which is a Brazil nut in caramel and chocolate. That one usually disappears the first. There's a pink one that is fudge. I think it's country fudge, and that's the one I go for. For that usually disappears second. And then the green triangles, they tend to disappear as well. So I think it's fun how different ones disappear, and then usually we end up with the toffees, the ones that are like golden medallions, and ones like toffee fingers. The toffee finger ones I like, the round ones I don't like. So a lot of the time they end up going in the bin because I don't like them. My sister doesn't really like them. They're the one thing on that whole thing that we don't actually, it usually gets forgotten. Unless we find a friend who goes, oh, I really love those, and then we just give them to them. Right, okay. So not a lot left to do. I really want to use this. This is just so cute. I quite like the way he pops his little head over the top of that. Right, we're going in. We're going for gold on that one. We're almost there, guys, I think. Looking at this, or looking at the table of stuff I had by the side of me, and I must admit, I was thinking I'm never going to get all of this on this page. I think maybe I am. Yeah, I like that there. That's quite cute. And it gives another layer to hold the envelope in with. Right, what don't we have? We have still got some of these, which I saved the more Christmassy ones for the top layer. So I think we definitely need to add some of those on here somewhere. I did warn you this page was going to be completely over the top and completely stuffed, but I think that really represents Christmas well. The fact that it's all about not really excesses, but it is. I mean, let's be honest about this. At Christmas, we usually spend too much money. We eat too much. We drink too much. We talk too much. Good grief, and I'm one to say that. We just do too much, really. If all of that makes sense to anyone but me. I like those two. I'm feeling I want one more here, but I'm wondering whether I want to put the green one in just to break up some of the red. No, I think it has to be red. I think that one will do. A little bit of gold at Christmas is never going to be a problem with any one of you. It would be if I glued the wrong side though. So let's just pop that little sucker on there. Right, do I want one on the envelope? Would I get one on the envelope? I would barely get one on the envelope. That doesn't feel right. You know, this one kind of feels right, but it feels like an afterthought, so I'm going to say no to those. Right, originally I was going to use these and make them into tags. I'm going to do that, but not for this spread because I think there's no room for them. Christmas, I wonder whether I can... I think that might look quite nice on the side of that page. And again, I'm going to put a little bit of vintage photo on the edge of this because this is seriously white. I think this was from a cookery magazine actually. I was very tempted to do this all about food and I went, maybe not. So, stick this bit down. As you can see, I'm totally ignoring the prompts. I think I'm going to stick that so it's just peeking up the top there. That works for me. Right, I have this piece here, which is Merry Christmas. I think that's not going to go on here either. And I've got the little bits of bling. This feels like it needs something here. Little bits of bling, and I actually think no to the bling. Right, I'm going to have a re-look at something needs to be on there. I'm going to pull in the parking lot for one more time and just have a little bit of a look. I don't know. I wonder if I can just cut that one glass out of there, because we do raise a glass at Christmas, and I'm thinking maybe that might be a nice little nod to that. We have a tradition in our house. When I trained as a baker and confectioner, oh gosh, it's going to be 45 years ago now, I trained with someone who has become a lifelong friend. I mean, I've known, actually I might do that as well. I've known, her name is Jane. I've known Jane now for at least 45 years. And when Mum was alive, she regarded Jane as the daughter she never had. So she's always been a huge and important part of our family. Very supportive when times got tough. You knew Jane would be there in a heartbeat if needed. Just one of those really good souls. So Jane, if you're watching, you can smack me later. So what we do, the tradition is Christmas morning, Jane normally comes to us early in the morning. And what we do is she comes around pretty much for breakfast. So Jane will come round and I'll have some bacon rolls on the go, and we'll have bacon rolls, a cup of tea, and then we have a glass of sherry just to celebrate Christmas, just to raise the glass before the world gets a little bit crazy, should we say, because she does have 2 children, a daughter-in-law, a grandchild. So Christmas quite rightly has to be family with her family. So yes, so she does that with us in the morning. And I must admit, the year COVID struck, is that last year? God, it feels like so long ago. We weren't allowed to go to each other's houses. And it was going to be the first year since we'd known each other that she didn't come to my house. So, and we usually exchange presents then with her as well. So we obviously had presents for her. She had presents for us. So what I did is I did something a little bit unusual. On Christmas morning, she was going to come round and she was going to stand at the doorstep and then hand our presents to us. And we were going to hand our presents to her. So what did I do? I set up breakfast in the street on the pavement. So outside the house, we had a cup of tea. We had our bacon rolls standing in the street. And we had our little glass of sherry. So no matter what that damn virus did, it didn't take that Christmas tradition away from us. So I'm pleased I did that. That just brings that colour in. It's another thing. I think I want to say we're done. Funnily enough, the table I put stuff on is completely and utterly empty, which it normally isn't. Mind you, looking at the amount that's on here, it should be. Right, so let's do this. Something with holes. This has got a hole in it. Something that is heavy. We know Santa is in there. Santa's a little bit on the portly side. Something stapled. We know this cluster is stapled. A sticker. This represents a sticker that I made. A book page. There is a music page behind there. A paint chip. That's a paint chip. I think we've done it. I think congratulations to this journey. It is done and dusted. I'm happy about this. I'm way happy. That does look like Christmas. Not sure 261 actually means anything to me. And it doesn't mean anything to me. But you know, maybe it will now. Maybe 261 will be... Do you know, guys, that was the last page I did. I can't think of what to do there anyway. Just having a little look and seeing whether I want to put anything on there whatsoever. I mean, I could put a little bit of book page over it. I don't know why I feel I need to cover it up, but I feel it might need covering up. Just because it's black and it's just so blaringly out of place. There you go, that might make me happy. Right, so go to a little bit of, this page is very old and very fragile. So let's pull in the glue book one last time for this collage and reopen the glue, which I thought we were done with. And so I'll put that on there just to take away that number. There you go. I think that's more in keeping. If I was going to do anything, I'd put something like December or something there if I wanted, but I don't think it needs it. Right, I think we're done. It's been a fabulous journey. Thank you for being on it with me. Thank you for all the lovely comments. I did say I'm going to do a flip through at some point, so it's probably going to be, the flip through will probably come out maybe Boxing Day, 26th of December, or the days between Christmas and New Year, because I want to end this in 2021. I don't want it overgoing into 2022. It's been wonderful. I've loved it. It's been for me, as I've said before, a journey of discovery, of pushing boundaries, of just everything. Just everything. It's just when I look back through here and see how styles have changed or how I've interpreted the prompts differently on each of these, it's just, and I do have some of my favourites. I love the Badass Fairy. That's got to be one of the favourite things. That and this one here that says bras must fit or something like that. That was on one of them. Where is it? that was something else that a lot of people thought I was brave putting that in there, and I'm like, why wouldn't I? It presented itself. I can't find where it is. It's one of these. This wasn't meant to be a flip through, guys. They're fine bras that fit. It just happened. Anyone who watches this video knows that there's something written on the other side of this, which is what I intended to put in here, and that just presented itself. So I'm going to literally close the book on this. Hope the book stays in one piece, because that is seriously, how wide is that? That's got to be about 2.5 inches wide there. And that's a year of my life. And I've enjoyed that, and hopefully you have as well. And I will see you in the future. So there's the obligatory everything you already know about me. And if you've seen the 53 videos so far, you're probably sick of seeing this. But you know what? As a business person, I do need to share this every time. And it's needless for me to say thank you and goodbye. And this is Ceri the Crafter, Ceri, the Crafter, saying goodbye. Bye, guys.